Welcome to new video. I'm going to be doing some more one Dwarfman development. I've developed some headgear. Oh, this doesn't show it. Um, we're going to be playtesting the Necromancer headgear, which is the skull cap. I don't know what I'm going to call it, just the skull headgear. Um, Before I jump into the game, though, I want to talk about some things I've identified as needing to be improved. This is a hit spark sprite that I've drawn, and it's very heavily influenced by the Third Strike hit spark. I've been watching a lot of. I actually went to an arcade in Portland with my kid, and we played Third Strike. And I got kind of into it again, and I've been noticing like the way. So the way Third Strike does the hit spark is like, player one generates orange hit spark and player two generates green hit spark, and so I just kind of tried to draw my own variant of this. It's very similar to the Third Strike one. But what I've noticed happens is like for one frame at the point of impact, this hit spark sprite is generated, and then like one frame later, it becomes a bunch of little like orbs using these same values and hue shifted. Third Strike does a lot of really nice hue shifting for value, like, and this is like a common thing in art where like if you want to make something darker, you don't just change the value slider. You um you want to shift the hue toward purple. And if you want to make something like brighter, you want to hue shift it more toward orange. And if you look at like the Elena sprite, for example, like those really nice purple shadows, the shading on like Necro's legs and knees, you can see that a lot. But it breaks into these orbs and then they kind of dissipate. And what I've really been noticing as I play this game, and it might not be evident when you're watching a YouTube video of it. I mean, it probably is though, because I have the ASCII art and stuff in there. Um, is that it's very difficult to tell like what my heroes are doing off screen. Um, like if I have Necromancer with like five skeletons, I have no real sense of how well each skeleton is doing. How much damage is it putting out? How long is it surviving? Because as Dwarfman, I'm kind of running around and mining, and I'm not really looking at my hero very much. So what I'm kind of trying to do with the hit spark system is, and it's not in here yet, by the way, I'm just talking about it, is have it out of the corner of my eye. If I see a really big hit spark, I know that did a lot of damage. And then I'm thinking like I'm gonna code it like based on a percentage of their max HP that is done. Like if they take like X percent of their HP or less, it's gonna be almost like a blocking effect. And then the other core thing is gonna be the sound of it. So like a blocking effect, you have like a muffle, like like in a fighting game, the blocking sound almost. And I think that will help a lot because if you see these big hit sparks and you out of the corner of your eye you see a big hit spark near your DPS character, for example, you're like, okay, he's doing a lot of damage. Then a new enemy type is introduced, and then you notice that even your DPS guy is getting that block sound. You're like, okay, he needs more damage. And I think that's probably going to be aesthetically a lot better than just having like a bigger number come out of their head. But that's kind of probably the next video I'll do. And the other thing I'm going to be talking about, I'll talk about in the next video. But for now, let's talk about the headgear. So from a design standpoint, this is similar like in Balatro to a different deck, or in Brotato to the different potatoes. And the way I'm going to do this is like as the baseline, you have the bald headgear, and this is like just a flat experience boost, which is pretty good. But then I want to have a headgear for every hero that starts you with that hero, but also changes the rules in some way. The Necromancer rule changes are likely to be more extensive than most of them. Like for the knight, I haven't decided what this is going to do, but like it might be as minimal as like Dwarfman gets certain stat modifications for the night. And then I'm going to have a headgear for each skill as well. And then I'm just going to have other headgear I think of that I think is interesting. This is something that's always, especially when I was like really into Brotato, where I realized like from a coding perspective, it's trivial to code this kind of stuff in. Of course, the playtesting is harder, but in a single player game, you can, it's kind of okay if you just make one that's maybe one of these headgears ends up being a lot easier than the other one, but that still generates extra value. And from a player experience, like, okay, well, that headgear was easy, but it was fun and I beat the game with it. Let's move on to the next one. And I think this adds a lot of variety to the game. So the one we're going to be playtesting is the Necromancer one. And this has also allowed me to give a good mechanism for me as a developer to start refining these character classes more, because I'm playing the Necromancer over and over now. But the idea here is the Necromancer in general, he can summon skeletons, and every time you level up his summon skeleton ability, he gets an additional skeleton. Now, at the same time, if you're increasing the Necromancer's spell damage from leveling up and getting items, that directly increases the skeleton stats. So I'm trying to balance, like, if you can just keep adding skeletons and buff, at some point the skeletons are at risk of becoming better than heroes, which could be a problem. So the mechanism I've implemented to kind of balance that and make it interesting is Life Force. The Necromancer's drain ability converts damage done from the drain into Life Force, which is distributed evenly to all of his skeletons. And I'm in the process of playtesting this. I think it's not pushed enough right now, but generally they are about half as good. Like a skeleton with no Life Force is like half as good as one with Life Force, maybe a little bit better than half. If you have Life Force, and especially like movement speed being buffed is really big. But I'm probably going to push that even more, and I'm probably also going to remove the, like, if you have no Life Force in a skeleton, it doesn't get buffed from the spell damage as well. So that way you have a self-correcting mechanism where the skeletons without Life Force just become not good, and then you don't want to add too many without leveling up the Life Force, the drain ability. But so what this headgear does is, it, as the picture kind of shows you, it converts Dwarfman into a skeleton in a sense. And rather than having his stamina meter, he has a Life Force meter. I can no longer press a button to sprint. I can no longer heal through any means other than using Life Force. So I become a lot more reliant on the Necromancer, and it pushes me from like a gameplay perspective, it pushes me more toward protecting the Necromancer rather than treating him as expendable, because I need that Life Force. And I also will mine faster when I have Life Force. So I'm going to jump in. When we start with the Necromancer, we immediately have to pick the level up for him, and we're going to get drained because I want Life Force since I'm a skeleton. So you see I'm moving very slowly, and then as soon as I start getting Life Force, now my movement speed is boosted, but it's a lot less fast than sprinting. However, sprinting consumes stamina very, very quickly. So it creates a bit of a nice asymmetry where it's like my overall speed, like on average, I'm probably moving faster on average, but I have less like speed burst potential. And right there, I stayed on screen 1 pretty long because I wanted to make sure I get that orb. If you have a Necromancer or like a caster in general, like a Necromancer or a mage or any other future caster class I add, the orbs are what you really need the most of for their equipment. So I really want to make sure I get that, even though it ended up meaning that I had fewer ingots. The other thing I've done since the previous video, there was a bug in the previous video where all characters were getting double experience because it was calculating at the beginning and the end of this screen. I fixed that, but I did boost experience that especially these early monsters give you. But you can see, especially because I loitered on screen 1 and didn't go to screen 2 fast enough, I was 4 XP short of leveling up both characters. So this is another downside of, it's not like strictly better to start with a hero, because my experience is getting split from the very beginning, which is not ideal. And now I'm going to go into the second screen down a lot of experience and not having an extra skill, which is going to cost me quite a bit. Okay. One mole man and charge helmet are skills which replace the sprint, and I'm still deciding what to do, but I think I just need to disable them from the pool when you have the skull helmet, because you can't sprint as a necromancer. Boomerang is very tempting to get as use my daily action on boomerang, but I'm thinking of doing explore to get my ingots up a bit. I'm really quite far behind because I missed that level up threshold. I'm probably going to level up twice this time. I'm tempted to go with boomerang though. It's pretty good. If I get it, I'll talk about it. If I don't, I won't talk about it. And if I go explore and find specifically a knight as the extra hero in there, I might take him and play a very different game than if I don't. But I could also find an extra orb, which could be pretty key going into the next when my smithy is ready and I want to get equipment for the necromancer. I'm going to go explore and see what I get. Okay, this is unlucky. So the cleric is usually quite good, but she can't heal Dwarfman because of the life force, and she can't heal skeletons, so it's just like a nombo. I'm just going to take the ingots. Okay. And yeah, we'll just start. And the way healing works with life force, so like you can see my life force is draining at like a steady rate when I have it, but if I do take damage, it will drain much faster. And my necromancer just died, by the way. It will drain much faster, but it will heal me pretty quickly. I think I'm going to increase the rate at which it does heal. Okay, I'm going to jump to the next screen. It's questionable whether I should do this or not, but I feel like I need to min-max a bit. Like, my necromancer's dead. I still have some residual life force from when he was alive. It's going to last me from this screen. I just want to make sure I max out the resource gain I can get. That was really bad. Now I have no life force because I took damage, but it's okay. I just want to try to get like that. And this is like the usefulness of playtesting here. Knowing how much it set me back that I didn't level up, I want to next time I would say, okay, I really do need the orb, but I need to make sure I don't miss the level up. Okay. So I'm going to get movement speed. This is a rare upgrade. It will make me a lot faster. That will ultimately give me survivability and additional income just by the way that works. Okay. And this is another interesting decision when you have the skull helmet. So if I get summon skeleton, it's going to add 3 skeletons right away. That first level up gives you 3 skeletons, and then future ones just give you 1. But adding 3 skeletons is going to really cut into the life force pool that Dwarfman gets. And on the other end of that is like corpse explosion is my AoE damage, which I really pretty badly need to clear the screen. I'm actually going to delay the level up decision until I see what the smithy has. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So this wouldn't be terrible. Like cooldown reduction and max HP is not bad. Like the cooldown reduction on the drain, on corpse explosion, which I'm probably going to get now, and just almost doubling the necromancer HP. He did die. It's just this isn't like the I would prefer something with spell damage is really the issue. But let's check the inn, I guess. Yeah, like this is a mage. I don't really want to get a mage because it will cut into my orbs. Boomerang is back on offer. I'm probably going to get Boomerang here. Oh, yeah, I probably will. Okay. I'm going to get this helmet. And I don't feel like going for the Golem Factory really early is going to be super viable right now. I'm pretty far behind. In terms of like StarCraft, the Golem Factory is like getting an expansion. And this start that I've gotten where like I didn't level up, I didn't get the best equipment, it's kind of like I'm behind and I need to make sure I don't die. And going for the Golem Factory would be like, it would put me at risk of dying because I would be underpowered until it came online like 2 days later. So what I will do instead is I'm going to get a Dwarf Lab and save the rest of my money. I do have a daily action left. I'm going to get the Boomerang. So Boomerang starts out not very... Oh, and the other thing I need to do is level up my... I'm going to get Corpse Explosion, I think. It's bugged. Some of this UI stuff is really not behaving very well. Okay. So Boomerang throws every once in a while and it collects resources. We're really screwed here. The Necromancer just got turbo mobbed and died before his Corpse Explosion came online. I did make that a skill initially. I kind of meant to change that, but I haven't. Where you have to wait from the beginning. Like, it doesn't immediately come off cooldown when the round starts. You have to wait like 20 seconds to use it, because I just felt it was really powerful. But that meant that I put a point in it and didn't even use it. And now I'm falling behind here. And you know, if this were a, like, let's say, am I recording? I feel like my frame rate usually drops really bad, but okay, I am recording. So that was a pretty poor run. Like, that day didn't go well. He just died instantly. It looks like I should have gotten the skeletons instead. Okay. So when you have the skull helmet, the stamina upgrades are replaced by these life force ones. You can get life force efficiency and life force, what did I name the other one? I forgot what I called the other one, but the other one makes the buff, the speed and the mining buff increased. So this one like makes the life force go further. The other one makes it more powerful. Oh, it also increases the healing of it. However, yeah, I'm gonna get that. Like, mining speed would be good, but this actually like keeps my mining speed up. And now I'm gonna be adding skeletons, so I want to make sure I get more life force efficiency. One other note: when the Necromancer when there's no skull helmet, the skeletons share the life force equally. But with the skull helmet, Dwarfman always gets half of the life force, and then the skeletons share the other half, which is like good for me as Dwarfman. See, this is the helmet I actually wanted rather than the one I actually got. And I have no orbs left. So, and I wouldn't buy, like, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna switch helmets at this point. And these aren't really good, so let's see what's in the lab. I could get a railgun, which isn't good because it uses orbs to fire, so that's just not useful. I could add, this is bugged out. I just added this and it's not working, so that's not an option. I don't want to add a rogue. I'm probably just going to end up upgrading the boomerang. And I'm thinking of getting a gnome tree. So the gnome tree lets you recruit gnomes which fight, and there's different types of gnomes. The key thing with gnomes is they do not share experience with you, but you have to pay them every day. So it's going to cut very drastically into my income. But it feels like I need it because I'm not doing very well. Um, and of course, the game is still not very done. The zone one is all there is. But I'm trying to imagine, like, in a real game, this is like equivalent in a game like Balatro. I have basically what's happened is I have a weak Joker, and the scaling is about to go up, and I'm gonna die if I don't like navigate my way out of this better. So I'm looking at, like, I'm probably like, my Necromancer just auto died last round, right? Now we have skeletons. Maybe we'll make it through this screen, but what about the next screen? Let's see what happens here. So he summons the skeletons. Hopefully that's going to help. I'm actually going to mine near the Necromancer to try to draw aggro. Dwarfman mining generates aggro. Oh, I'm going to die here. Okay, Corpse Explosion. The upgraded Boomerang is doing a very good job of grabbing stuff. Okay, we got through that screen. I need to stop hitting those. I'm talking too much and not focusing. Okay. So I feel like I've kind of turned the corner. Like, things are working out a lot better. The skeletons are doing well. The life, you can see the life force isn't enough. We're constantly out of life force because we're sharing it. There's an orb. I'm gonna Corpse Explode again here before the round ends. And we're not really, there's not enough damage output happening. So but at least we're not just getting completely overrun like we were last day. Okay, so the income isn't, the mining skeleton is mining better than I am. This is something I'm a little bit worried about balance wise. Like, the fact that the mining skeleton did like double what I did with the Boomerang tells me that maybe the mining skeleton is too good. Okay, I'm just gonna get flat mining speed here and then bullet resistance per level. Another, I'll get max HP also. I'm trying to make sure I don't die. Another thing I've been thinking about as far as balance goes is, like, I think the Dwarfman upgrades need to just be maybe like twice as good as they are. Like, not all of them, but I think a lot of them are really too conservative. Okay. I'm gonna upgrade Drain just to make it stronger and convert into more life force, basically, because that we identified that the life force was kind of the restricting factor there. I'm gonna check the smithy first. Okay, we really want this. And this one, there's some bug where this is actually generating orb. Like, I think it's a 2% chance, unless it's, yeah, it's a 2% chance probably. When the Necromancer or a skeleton last hits an enemy, there's like a 2% chance that it will drop an orb. That's just not showing up. It should show up as orb, but it's just not working. I'm definitely gonna get this though, and that's not showing there either. But I think it is doing it. There's like a key mismatch in the code, and it's not showing up. One thing I did implement here is the skeleton. This is kind of incomplete, but if you look at here, this is showing you the first one is the tank skeleton, the second is the archer, the third is the mining. This shows you what adding the 5 spell damage is doing to the skeletons, based like the stat upgrades that they're getting. So it helps you have an idea of like how they are improving. It doesn't. There are some other factors like the tank taunt cooldown is reducing as well, but you can't quite see that. Okay. And then the second column, first column is without life force, second column is with life force. I'm gonna go to the gnome tree. So here's the gnome tree. Like, so basically, this gnome is a rare one, so it has like pretty good stats. However, it costs 9 ingots per day. I'm still gonna get it. So now I have Sibs, the tank. I can fire him if I want. And then I can use a daily action to upgrade gnomes. And this upgrades like the archer gnomes only on this one. And since I have a tank, like, I'm not gonna do that. This the rogue just like keeps showing up. Okay, I'm gonna upgrade Boomerang again. So This is like the more economic branch, and this is like the damage branch. I'm gonna go damage because we seem pretty short on that, I think. Especially those like shooting enemies have been not getting dealt with very well. Um, okay, 16 ingots left. I think I'm gonna get. Oh, I can't afford it. I want to get a fairy enchantress, although I don't think I can really afford the like my necromancer still isn't even. He's like half equipped, but the fairy enchantress stuff is pretty expensive. So like, I'm gonna save my ingots and see how we are next day. So we're currently on day 3 with 7 days until the boss. So like, I'm gonna pop Course Explosion. And so like, it's hard to tell. The skeletons look like the gnomes right now, which is not ideal, obviously. Like, because let's go to the screen because I need to put graphics in, right? But you know, I talked about the hit spark thing. These green things are fast enemies, so I really would like to have life force to deal with those if they're chasing me, especially. But as I was saying, the like if you imagine like the hit spark happening on these like melee attacks and stuff, it would really help me to see like what kind of damage output my units are doing. And right now I'm just like looking. Oh, I forgot. This is a bug where if I don't switch off the skeleton view, it just completely fucks up. So, and I can't. I might be able to like click the exact right spot to turn it off, but I don't know where it is. No, okay. I'm gonna get more life force efficiency. That seems good, and I can't really turn down the flat rare speed. Although max HP, I'm actually gonna take this so I don't risk just dying outright. I think my necromancer leveled up. Yeah, it just we got some buggy stuff happening here. I apologize for that. Okay, this would be very nice on the necromancer. Perfect, really. We did roll a legendary shield. Unfortunately, not really in the cards right now. Let's see if there's a knight. Dude, I feel like the roll on this is just bugged. We're seeing this like almost every time, and it seems like beyond what the RNG would allow for. I don't know. See if we get a mining drill. No, and this seems like it's showing up too much. Also, I've seen railgun 3 times now. Also, our ore is we don't have enough forges to support the ore now, so I need to build a few more forges. Our ingot count is going up really well. So kind of at a crossroads here, I could look at the gnomes. Oh, we got an upgrade on caster gnomes, which is this is a legendary upgrade. I am going to take this for future. There's no caster gnomes on offer right now, but oh, does the button not work? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. All right, well, apologies guys. I should have been more careful about that. When the game crashes like this, there's no recovering it. So that's going to be the end of the run. I've shot this video too many times. I did a previous run of this where I died on like the 3rd day, and I was just like, all right, well, but yeah, this is just, there was a button that wasn't supported, and I clicked it, and it crashed the whole game, and there's just no way out of this. So that will be the end of the run. But I think you got the idea. I mean, I would have, like, we had just hit a point where we are getting a lot of money, a lot of ingots per turn. I could have gone for the golem factory at that point, which would have allowed me to like keep developing into zone 2. Or we could have tried. So what I want to have happen in the game is like, you can either kill the boss early, which will give you, I haven't decided exactly what these roles are going to be, but like if you kill the boss X days early, it gives you like a super powerful, like 3 really powerful options. And as an example, I'm thinking like all damage for friendly characters is increased by 50%, or you get like 5 free mining golems. Like really, really big advantages that go into zone 2, or yeah, zone 2, if you kill the boss early. But killing the boss early also means that you're going that many days without using your daily action. So you're getting those bonuses in part to compensate that you're not using the daily action, and you're also getting like fewer shop trips to look at the smithy and buy stuff and recruit, right? Um so I want that to be a pretty dynamic trade-off. And I was kind of at the crossroads there. Like, I had a lot of money. I was getting pretty good at clearing quickly. If I wanted to try to kill the boss early, I still had, realistically, I still could have done it. So I would have gotten probably like the Fairy Enchantress, and I would have got the legendary Caster Gnome upgrade. I probably would have re-rolled the gnomes looking for an actual Caster Gnome, which would have really increased my AoE output. And then if I didn't get the Caster Gnome, I would have just saved the rest of the money. We would have gotten that cloak for the Necromancer, which would have made him a lot better. And then we would have just pushed to try to kill the boss early. And then say I killed the boss like 3 days early, it would have given me a big advantage into the next zone. And I probably would have built the Golem Factory like at the end of zone when I just had like overflowing money. I would have just built it to get it out of the way and eventually got that second daily action. Alternatively, I could have immediately built the Golem Factory right there and kept upgrading my boomerang for now. And then like when the Golem Factory finished, I could have really pushed the boomerang upgrades, or started getting armory stuff going, or one door flap stuff going. But anyway, the main thing I'm thinking is I want to get this done, and I want to add this. I guess it doesn't make sense talking about this other thing yet because you haven't seen enough other heroes for it really to be clear what I'm talking about. But some changes to how hero skills work, and then I also think it feels like the mining skeleton is too good. I don't think one mining skeleton should be out mining Dwarfman. So I probably need to like reduce his mining speed or mining damage or both, and make it like you have to get more spell damage to really get that going. So thanks for watching.